Good morning and welcome to another one of my videos. Yes, I decided that instead of posting one from the archives this week, I'd actually let you see my face in a video that was just recently recorded. Today is Monday, the 10th of October. It is 7:39 in the morning, and you probably won't see this till Friday. Anyhow, so I'm a bit rusty at this because this particular video I want to do is actually a book review. I've not done a book review in over a year, probably almost 2 years, ever since I did that one on Grief Observed by C.S. Lewis. I noticed that most of these reviews weren't being watched, so there was really no purpose to make them. Now, I suppose that has since changed because among the, circle of channels and accounts that of which I'm a part, which includes $10 Slimer, Spinal Shockers, Michael Keller, and I think Big Marcus and a whole bunch of other people too, Silkevia. There has been, among our, I suppose, cabal, one author who has been a mainstay of our conversation. That author is Stephen King. Obviously, he's very famous, world famous for writing and revolutionizing the horror genre, and has been in the business for almost 50 years. And obviously, $10 Slimer have done quite a number of videos on this man's work here, all of which are very good, and I recommend that you all go and watch them whenever you have a spare moment. But I had never read him until very recently. I was reading other things from the other videos that you see on this channel. You could probably derive something of my tastes. But main reason why I haven't read them is because, well, he's published so much and I have no idea where to start. Until Ahab had actually recommended his personal favorite book by him. And I was reading other things at the time, so I couldn't really get around to it until just maybe about 4 days ago. I did. Forgive the cats playing around. At the moment, they're very frisky, but hopefully it'll subside. Anyhow, so today we're going to talk about my very first Stephen King book that I've ever read, and Ahab's personal favorite, and now mine, and that is Revival. This is a library copy that I had procured from the Laguna Niguel branch of the Orange County Public Library System. So, I suppose I'll give you a brief synopsis of the book. Essentially, this right here concerns the life and doings of two people in particular. One being a chap by the name of Jamie Morton, who we go through the course of his life dealing with quite a bit of shenanigans from the time he was a very tiny child up through his teens, when he was, I suppose, involved in various rock bands, and also through his young adult years, struggling with drug addiction, and also a career in recording music as well. And then also the second person that we encounter in this narrative that is of some significance is a what's it called? Yes, a preacher by the name of Charles Daniel Jacobs, who comes to Jamie's hometown of Harlow, Maine. Of course, Stephen King's work is mostly set in Maine, as is this one here for a great part of it. And basically, they become instant friends in such, and sort of their lives, I suppose, coalesce and overlap with one another. Now, this Charles Jacobs fellow is, I suppose, I sort of call him a mixture of Kenneth Copeland and John Wesley, the founder of the Methodist Church, because he's very much interested in electricity and basically the, I suppose, healing properties it gives. But this preacher, Charles Jacobs, is a very godly man, very spiritual, very religious and such. And he has a family to whom he's very devoted, and they actually take part in some of the church-related activities. A wife and a son, a young baby. Not baby, 5 years old, somewhere around there. And basically, one day, this wife and son perish very tragically in something of an automotive accident. It's actually quite graphic, the description here in this book. It goes into detail what happened. And this basically kills whatever faith he had in God. And I suppose one day he gives this sermon, which is thereafter known as the terrible sermon, in which he basically denounces all religion and also the concept of God, basically comparing it to a bad insurance scam. Yes, it gets quite sacrilegious there. But anyhow, he's fired from working at the church in this town and basically goes on his way and is no longer a believer and such. And this also, I suppose, crushes the faith of this Jamie Morton fellow. And so, throughout the novel, as I said, their paths cross. Jamie's involved with all sorts of things, as is Charles Jacobs. He actually uses this electric fascination to do quite a bit of, well, on the surface it's good, but really when you get right down to it, the after effects of these healings are really quite devastating. And essentially, once again, their paths cross continually in this narrative. And it gets to the point where, basically, by the end of it, he's trying to find a reason behind belief in religion and God itself, and also a means to, I suppose, find out what's on the other side, to basically justify the death of his wife and son, and to basically find out that indeed there is something beyond this present life of ours. And what he finds, well, if you're familiar with Lovecraft in a way, it's not very good. Not very good at all for anyone. I suppose that's where I will end the plot description of this novel here. When I first heard about this from Ahab, he basically brewed it as sort of King's homage to, well, there's a list of authors in front of here, among which being Mary Shelley, Bram Stoker, H.P. Lovecraft, Clark Ashton Smith, Shirley Jackson, and perhaps most prevalent of all, Arthur Machen, who is the author of The Great God Pan, which I'm yet to review because I read it over a year ago and just never got around to it. And reading it, I really didn't get that impression for the first, I suppose, 300 pages. It really reminded me more of, I have a copy I can show here because obviously I have a quarter of my library out here. It reminded me quite a bit of Fifth Business by Robertson Davies, which is one of my personal favorites. In fact, the expression Fifth Business is used in here quite a bit. If you don't know what Fifth Business is, it's basically somebody who shows up in a story that who's an item of great change in a character's life. And if you read this book and also read this, you'll see quite a bit of similarities in the plot and things. And actually this caused me to want to reread this after so many years, and which I will do here soon. But now the Lovecraft bits don't make themselves apparent until near the end. And when they do, they are certainly very, very evocative and will indeed unnerve you quite a bit. This is not by any means one of Stephen King's, I suppose, traditional novels, because it's much more literary than a lot of his horror fare. And this being my first by him, I wonder if his other works are just like this. I may well want to check those out as well. So, all in all, what did I think about this book, my first Stephen King? Well, I will, in an attempt to evoke the late and great Ramsay, try and emulate him. This novel, this is a great novel. I don't go tossing that expression around very liberally. When I say something is great, I mean that it is the criterion of a certain genre or medium. This novel right here is as good as Fifth Business. This novel is as good as, oh goodness, I can't think of many of the novels that I have. Anything by Lovecraft. This novel is as good as The Private Memoirs and Confessions of a Justified Sinner. This novel is as good as, oh goodness me, as anything by Isaac Asimov. The reason why I bring up Asimov is that Josephine, one of the followers of the channel who goes by Spinal Shockers, had compared King to Asimov, saying he was essentially the Asimov of horror. I sort of agree with that, because his style, first of all, it's very easy to read. You can get through it in no time. And also the concepts that he employs in his narratives, indeed, are very innovative and not like anything else anyone has ever done. But this novel may well... I did a list of my favorite books. I put out a video of a list of my favorite books of all time, which I recorded back in 2020, but I didn't release until 2021. That list is very old and out of date. This book may well go on there. I may have to revise it, but this book may well now be among the ranks. And for my first Stephen King, I couldn't think of any other place that I would have liked to have started. I noticed too that of late I've been reading quite a lot of books that are similar to this in a way. They all have to do with some or another type of religious element. There's obviously James Hogg's The Private Memoirs and Confessions of a Justified Sinner. There's Chuck Palahniuk's Survivor. And there's this one here too. I seem to gravitate quite a bit towards stories with a religious theme, be it overt or surreptitious or just symbolic in a way. But it leads me to wonder, because Ahab recommended this. Ahab, if you're watching this, do let me know. Are there any other type of sort of stories with a religious demiurge behind them that you would recommend? Because I say unto all of you that I highly recommend this book, Revival by Stephen King. I couldn't think of a better place to start. If you're a fan of all of the old horror writers of old, Mary Shelley, H.P. Lovecraft, Algernon Blackwood, Arthur Machen, all those types, you're going to love this book. If you're a fan of literary fiction, you're going to love this book. Or if you just want something to read that, if you haven't read Stephen King already and you want someplace to start, here's your source. So, I give this my highest possible recommendation. And I will leave it at that. Thank you very much for watching this book review. I hope that it wasn't as meandering or sloppy as I think it to be, because once again I haven't done this book review thing in a very long time. Keep that in mind. And perhaps this might inspire you, if you haven't read it already, to go and read Stephen King's Revival. It is one of the great books of the 21st century, probably, and has now made it among my list of favorites. This is a library copy. I will make it a point to track down my own copy for myself, my own personal library, as soon as I can. I thank you very much for watching. I wish you a good morning, midday, afternoon, evening, midnight, whenever you intend to see this. And I'm going to get back to doing what I have been doing these past couple of weeks when you haven't seen me, which is basically reading and writing. And by the way, you'll get through this book very quickly. This took me 4 days to read. It's 400 pages, but it's a very, very fast 400 pages. And yes, we'll be seeing you next time. Expect a new video from the archives, probably a short one, coming soon. Cheers. One more thing, if you're a fan of music, and especially like myself, who had grown up with quite a lot of music from the 1960s and 70s and all that lot, you're going to love this book because there's quite a lot of references to songs from that period of time. So, that's it.